Well, the day I'm recording this is Friday, January 13th, and I'm not sure when I'll put it up, but you know, those of us who are awake are watching what the deep state, the continuity of government, the CIA, all those people that are suppressing the rising of liberty in the hearts of the people. We're watching what they're doing, and it's obvious that they're not happy with the fact that this great awakening is occurring, and it's getting more and more obvious that they're going to try. They want to take some very serious actions. Well, I just have a couple of words, okay? This isn't Ukraine. You know, this isn't Eastern Europe. This isn't a country where, while a lot of us are still asleep, or even, you know, about 30 or 40% of us apparently are liberal autocrats in our hearts, at least, and that's what the last election shows. The fact of the matter is, if the CIA and the deep state keeps pushing this stuff, the people will side with Trump, I think. And there's a force multiplier here that I know the deep state and the CIA is aware of. And that force multiplier are the veterans. We'll definitely do this in the right way, okay? You nix this last election, you endanger Donald Trump, and it wouldn't surprise me because you haven't respected the Constitution or liberty for a long time. You've been subverting everything that's good and right about America and pointing out only the very few small bad things that we've done and using that to influence the mindless people that want to back your plans. Well, that's also happened with some veterans, obviously. Some veterans have been taken in by your propaganda, but how many have not? And that is the force multiplier you have to be aware of. And we will side with the righteous. When I say righteous, I mean obviously governments like Governor Abbott's in Texas, where he's going to support, you know, the right side to this thing. I think it's really time that you consider all of this, because this isn't a third world country. You wanted to make us a third world country, but we're not. And a lot of vets are prepared to defend themselves, their families, and the Constitution of the United States, and at this point, Donald Trump. So I just wanted to make sure that you understood that's a force multiplier, and I know you know it. And I know you've won over a lot of vets who really aren't thinking things through, but a lot of us have. And I could name names, but you know who they are. Some of them, not all of them by any means. Please don't do this. Please don't do it. It's not something that's going to turn out well for anyone. Because if we win, if we return the republic, it's going to be the Nuremberg trials all over again for all you guys. All of you. From the least to the greatest. Even some guy who just thought he was just collecting a paycheck and that's all he cared about. That's all the Nazi war criminals thought about too, even the low level ones. Oh, we just did our job. That was always the defense. No, that's not going to work. Well, and I thought I'd better add one more thing. Watching what's going on here, you know, I know a lot of the commentators out there, independent news sources, are saying we need to get louder, point out what's going on, get more in their face of the New World Order, the CGO, the Deep State, etc., CIA. But I'm beginning to think, fellow vets, that it's time to go dark. At least for, well, at least the next week, it looks like to me. Today is still the 13th of January, Friday. So when I say the next week, you'll have to take that in a relative form. After that, just make sure that we ally ourselves with the right authorities, the right rightly constituted government. And I don't mean, of course, Obama. align ourselves with Trump, but I'm still not sure what they're going to end up doing. This is upsetting the CIA and the COG pretty seriously in the NWO. So maybe it's best if all of those vets who are out there who are that force multiplier for the good guys, I'm not going to try to define that. If you don't know now, you never will, but it might be time to go dark for just a little while. Get together with your friends, your supplies, those things, and that's just how I'm looking at it. Okay, just a quick little video here to say that again, it's not a threat. We have a right to defend ourselves. We have a right to support the president-elect. Even if you declare him a criminal or whatever else you're trying to do, say he's a Russian agent, which is a laugh. What about Hillary Clinton? She's the one that's gotten millions of dollars from the Russians, uranium deals, all that, met with Putin. John Podesta, all of his Russian connections. I mean, come on. Come on. Lies, lies, propaganda, disinformation, misinformation. American people really are starting to see through you. I think the majority will be against you in the long run. And there will be nowhere for you to run, as I've said in my video, that the military is coming for you if you keep this up. And another little addendum here. You know, it's a real good question as to why the U.S. government hasn't gone after Soros. It would certainly be a lot easier than having to put up with this nonsense that's being planned in D.C. and around the country leading up to and on the inauguration day of President-elect Trump. So, you know, if they went after Soros, which they could easily do if they really wanted to, no demonstrations, no riots. Oh, you probably still want to have the police and the military and the FBI and all those other people there, but you know, it wouldn't be nearly the problem, because if you're not paying these people, the J20 and the BLM, etc., they're not going to show up, you know, at least not in the numbers that an organization like those would produce. So why isn't the government going after Soros? They're complicit with him. 2 + 2 = 4. And then the other thing that I wanted to bring up real quick is we have a lot of hype going on, and it's concerning, and we need to watch it. But this whole situation with trying to poke the bear, you know, the possibility of war with Russia. While that's certainly a possibility, I think when I look at this thing from a military point of view, that all of this movement of troops, the special forces, the armored units, those types of things, up along the Russian border, it's not being backed up by much. And what am I talking about? Well, you don't dock almost all of your aircraft carriers, or possibly all your aircraft carriers, if you're really considering war. Now, Obama might be stupid enough to do something like that, or intentionally to, you know, to cause some losses on the U.S. side. But the DOD isn't that stupid. So my judgment on this is that this is all grandstanding for propaganda against and to the American people. What an evil, evil group of people that are running this government and influencing it. And of course, you know, John McCain, who I have no respect for, has shown his true colors. That war hawk who, you know, I'd like to sit here and list all of his criminality and treason, but I've done that so many times, it's just, I don't want to beat a dead horse. Anyway, I wanted to bring those two things up. I did tweet that information out not too long ago, a few hours ago, and I thought, well, I ought to get that up on YouTube with this information on this video that I made about the whole idea of the veterans being prepared. All right, out here.